Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating trend that is completely changing the multi-billion-dollar gaming industry. And, it all kicks off with a simple question: what happens when a game is designed not just to be won, but to be loved?
So in China, this whole segment is so distinct that it actually has its own name, the her game market. And there's a really specific reason why it's earned that unique title. See, this isn't just about women playing games. It's about an entirely new economic model that's built around a totally different kind of player.
Now, at first glance, you might look at the numbers and think, okay, women contribute about 23% of the total game sales revenue in the country. And you might be thinking, all right, that's a decent chunk of the pie, but it's not half, right?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. You see, that 23%, that only counts direct game sales and in-game purchases. It completely misses the bigger picture. So let's unpack why this number is actually just the tip of a massive, massive economic iceberg.
All right, so to really get into this, let's start by tackling a super common misconception about what kinds of games women are actually playing.
You know the stereotype, right? Both in China and pretty much everywhere, the assumption is that female gamers prefer casual titles. We're talking puzzle games, dress-up simulations, romance stories, that sort of thing. But the data coming out of China, it tells a completely different story.
Okay, so if you look at the monthly active users, you might be a little surprised to learn what the most popular genre for female players in China actually is. It's competitive shooting games. We're talking a staggering 200 million players. Yeah, puzzle games are next, sure, but right behind them are those intense, team-based battle arenas, MOBAs.
And this next number just illustrates the point perfectly. Back in 2017, women made up over half the players, 51.7% to be exact, for Honor of Kings. Now, if you don't know, this is one of China's most popular and fiercely competitive online battle games. We're not talking about some niche casual title here. This is a mainstream esports giant.
And what's even more remarkable is that for over 80% of these women, Honor of Kings was their very first time playing this type of competitive game. So what happened? What caused this huge shift and brought millions of women into genres that, let's be honest, were previously considered male-dominated?
Okay, let's get into the core mechanism that really unlocked this whole market. It all comes down to a fundamental change in how these games make money. Really, it's a shift in philosophy, away from just winning towards pure enjoyment.
So the old model was what we call pay to win. And if you've played, well, pretty much any mobile game, you know this model well. You spend real money to get better gear, stronger characters, more energy, whatever. The bottom line is, spending more money directly translated to having more power and, of course, a higher chance of winning.
But this pay-to-fun model, it completely flips that on its head. Here, the goal isn't to buy a competitive advantage at all. It's to pay for self-expression, for aesthetics. Suddenly, the experience becomes skill-based and social, not just a contest of who has the deepest pockets. And this approach, it builds a way stronger community and ultimately gives these games a much, much longer lifespan.
And the data from Honor of Kings shows this split just perfectly. When players were asked why they spend money in the game, the top reason for male players was to unlock and try out other characters. Okay, makes sense. But for female players, it was overwhelmingly to improve their character's appearance. Buying new outfits, new cosmetic items, that kind of thing.
And this right here is the crucial point. This pay-to-fun model revealed that the true scope of the her game market goes way, way beyond just the game itself.
The source material puts it perfectly, highlighting a key difference in motivation. It basically says, while many male players focus on mastering the game's mechanics, getting the highest score, climbing the ranks, female players are often more likely to get invested in the story, the characters, and the entire universe the game inhabits.
And you can actually see this reflected in what gaming replaced in their lives. For men, playing Honor of Kings primarily took time away from, well, playing other video games. But for women, it took time away from watching movies, TV series, and variety shows. They're seeing these games as a form of entertainment that's right on par with their favorite Netflix series.
And that emotional investment, that's the engine for the real business strategy here, what we can call the her game market flywheel. Okay, so think of it like this. It starts with a hit game that builds a super passionate fan base. Then, that fan base eagerly consumes comics and anime that expand the story. This, in turn, drives demand for merchandise and live events. And all of that feeds right back into strengthening the original game. What you end up with is a massive, self-sustaining entertainment universe, or what the industry calls an IP.
Okay, let's bring this all together in our final section and see how this is building into a global trend that honestly, we should all be watching. Because this isn't just about gaming anymore. This is about the future of entertainment itself.
And believe me, this was not a one-off success. The Chinese market has been consistently pumping out massive hits that target female players year after year after year. We're talking the dress-up game Miracle Nikki in 2015, then the romance sim Love and Producer in 2017, then the super chill idle game Travel Frog in 2018. The momentum has just been undeniable. And of course, this consistent stream of hits is clearly reflected in the revenue. You can see the market share grew from about 15.5% in 2015 to 23% in 2019. But look, the real story here isn't just the growth. It's the sustained momentum and the constant innovation that prove this is a really lasting trend.
So, what are the big takeaways from this whole her game market model? Well, first, it signals a huge shift from being product-centric to IP-centric, meaning you focus on the entire universe, not just the single game. Second, it proves you can build a monetization model on self-expression and community, not just on raw competition. And finally, it shows that for today's audience, the game is just the beginning of a media franchise. It's not the end.
And this all leaves us with one final, pretty big thought. I mean, we've all seen books become movies and movies become games, but as this IP-first model, which was really pioneered in China, starts to go global, how might it reshape the future of all of the entertainment we consume? We may soon find that our next favorite movie or show or book doesn't start on a screen or a page. It might just start inside a world that we get to play in first.